anyone who has slept with a porn star off camera, what was the experience like? She wasn't a big name in the industry, but she has videos. It was a really good experience. No over-the-top nonsense like you see in the documentaries. It was just like having sex with a normal person, except she was really good at what she does and she truly enjoys it. Documentaries. I'm going to tell my wife that I'm watching documentaries in the bathroom from now on when she asks me what's taking so long. I've known two guys who have, and they said it was just plain old sex with no heightened performance. One guy had a one-night stand at a bar, the other briefly dated one. Since a number of porn stars also do escort work, I wouldn't be surprised if they did put on a show for their client. Yeah, the last part of your comment is why I asked this question. Uninspired. The last thing she wanted to do was have sex when she was off work. She was a delightful dinner companion though. She was animated and focused on me, and everybody in the restaurant wondered how a schlubby guy like me snagged such a hot date. I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't be in a rush to fuck. They were just doing that all day. Probably multiple takes. Could be sore. And if male, may not have much left in the tank. I used to work tech support, and the last thing I wanted to do when I got home was help a family member with their phone, tablet greater than. People think that if you have anything to do with computers you can do anything with them. I'm a web developer and people think that means I know how computers work. I don't. I just Google shit. But, no, I can't fix your printer. I don't know how, because no one can. They are incomprehensible machines that are holding back the human race. It was not the mind-blowing experience I had assumed it would be. The biggest difference was that she used a couple of positions that were new to me. They weren't amazing, and after a couple times I realized that she was playing to an imaginary camera. All in all, 8/10 would bang again. I'm a failure as a woman. My men expect so much of me, because of the image they've made of me, and that I've made of myself, as a sex symbol. They expect bells to ring and whistles to whistle, but my anatomy is the same as any other woman's and I can't live up to it. Marilyn Monroe. There's a great chapter in Dennis Rodman's autobiography where he discusses dating Madonna and how everyone was all man. I bet she's a freak. Does she do freaky stuff? What does she do? And he'd go, she's just a normal woman. Is she a side of beef? No. But she's not some other level freak show at sex either. I think, it was way back, he said she was a solid 8. Given how insane Rodman is, it was remarkably mature. Though this was years ago. The book was Bad as I Wanna Be from 1996. He's gone batshit crazy since, obviously. I dated a girl who seemed like she had a simple life. I later found out she was a stripper and later that she was in a few movies. Sex was great, but I don't think her career had anything to do with it. We had a great energy together that only got stronger the more we learned each other's crazy life stories. She also was bi and would get drunk and bring women home. Good memories. How did it end? She went to the corner store to get MILF one day and never returned. This is genuinely the best thing I've seen on Reddit today. Amazing. Had a friend who dated one for a while. She was gorgeous, a bombshell. She was funny and very easygoing. She had emotional issues that the poor guy had break up with her. Years later, at his birthday, one of his new colleagues refused to believe our jokes about dating a porn actress. The face when the dude saw some pics. Priceless. Oh, and she stole 10K from him. No, how dare you even think about leaving us on that cliffhanger? You better tell me how and why. I need to know why emotional issues caused the breakup and not a loss of 10K. She was smart and funny, but her humor was just a mask. In reality, she was extremely insecure, neurotic and a compulsive liar. In small doses, hearing a sexy girl telling that her red blouse it's actually green, might be hilarious. A girlfriend doing it 24/7. Different story. My friend like an accountant, short, glasses, almost bald. But he has that supreme confidence and charisma of the guy who knows that he can sell sand to Arabs. So, she was always afraid that he will leave her as a punishment for a tiny mistake. week. She told me to make love to her because she was tired of just being fucked, and I came in like 2 minutes. Not an encounter I'm very proud of. That's like 10 times better than me. Kidul's friend, turns out they're not just for girls. Within a few weeks you can very easily go as long as you want without a lot of effort. Just have to come to terms with, like, I'm doing sex-related exercises and jerking it as draining, but for real. Who knew? So, more info on this, and a link maybe, for a friend please and thank you. I'm the friend you. AV for Prez. Help a brother's brother out please. Oh alright, oddly enough I think I stumbled upon this googling, private tab of course, how to last longer. This site is what's up. Those words were game-changing for me on 2 fronts. First, the whole thing about performance anxiety is true. TLDR, you know that muscle that makes your dick like ... lift. You basically practice maxing that out for 4-5s, stopping for 4-5s, repeating 5x of that like 5x a day. Then you do the inverse, which is, for lack of a better term, the fart shit muscle, and then you rotate. If you're close but not wanting to finish, you just kinda instamax one or the other depending, and it'll bring you way back. Eventually you develop this kind of ... numbness. Not sure how to explain it properly, but like it has to be rubbed out before you can climax. And since that's exactly what will be happening, the you go, hope it helps, was remarkably simple for me once I accepted I was learning it. And the other part about like sexual anxiety on that front. You think you won't hang, you won't. Maybe it'll seem like torture at first, but like watch 20-30 minute porn scenes or whatever without finishing until the end. Mentally run through entire scenarios or encounters you're hoping to have at 1-to-1 time frames. Tell her you're not happy until she's happy, and like set accurate standards. If you bust in like a few minutes or less and then keep going like it's nothing, it becomes nothing. Most of that is in your head, but ideally the Kidjuls will do the trick. Noticed within a couple of weeks that it was much more in my control, and the 2 tricks he teaches to like insta-kill and about to not do work. TBH, the mental thing was like 50%, Kidjuls 50%. Enjoy. Anyone that gets here, this is 100% the correct answer. But you have to do it. You have to practice patience. You have to work those Kidjuls. Also, I'd like to add, learn other things that don't require your penis. It can get you out of jams, and, for some girls, it can be the finishing move. Okay. Is there a non-humiliating or emasculating way that I can send this information to my husband? We've talked about his lack of endurance before, but I don't think he knows what to do, and I think it's making him feel really terribly when we try to talk about it now. No dude. She's used to getting fucked for hours at a time while she's not even turned on. A few minutes of sex is a godsend. I'm a stripper and people just assume my sex life is just wild because of what I do for a living, but the truth is, I get horny. There's maybe some heavy petting or some oral, we fuck for maybe 3-5 minutes and then that's it. Life goes on. No splits or working. I don't stand on my head or have giant nipple clamps, and I'm certainly not getting into my outfits. We just wanna fuck. I'm a woman. I had sex with a very prolific male porn star before he became famous. He had a huge dick, which was like wow, but he didn't know how to use it at all. Watching his porn now, and it's still centered the size of him. Not his skill but the actress's. He says the same weirdo yay now that he did then. Turn off then. Turn off now. I haven't, but I know a guy who did. He said she was a really cool person and they had a lot in common. But the sex was not at all what someone would imagine. Apparently, she got into the industry pretty quickly after losing her virginity, and basically 90% of her sexual experiences were on camera. Because of this, she didn't know how to have a natural sexual experience with a normal person. He said if he didn't tell her what he wanted her to do, she was awkward and clueless. It's sad. TBH. She was so used to being directed that if someone wasn't directing her, she couldn't just go with it and enjoy herself organically. I met him at a bar and was a bit drunk. Ended up complimenting him on how his ass looked like you could bounce a quarter off of it. had some drinks and laughs, and agreed to grab a cab uptown to his place when the bar was closing down. We started getting hot and heavy on his couch and everything is going decently well, and he suggests we move into his bedroom. He had like one of those junior one bedrooms in a high-rise along the lake where the wall kind of slides open between the living room and the bedroom. So he slides this partition open and we're in each other's arms making out, moving to the bed, and he plunks me down on it and I look around for a minute and then freeze. It's this huge custom welded steel bed with an overhanging frame supporting a leather fuck swing with an attachment welded on it to hold an industrial sized jug of lube with a pump on it. I realized that in my drunkenness I had bitten off way more than I could chew and apologized and noped the fuck out of there. I found out a week later he was a porn star from the bartender where I picked him up at.